It's been a minute since the last fight. You've now had a couple months to think about it. Just what are your overall thoughts on the first matchup now months later?
Um, I mean, I obviously say I wish we didn't even have to do a rematch, and I would have just finished it there. That's my initial thought. I thought, I was on the road too, and that would have been great. Then I wouldn't have to go through all this or all that I did go through to get to this one. But, you know, make it sweeter in a way to go in there and get the redemption. It's obviously great that it lined up with the Fight Island, and I get to experience this. This is great and fresh and just pure for me to do this. So that's really good too. But yeah, I mean, in general, I just look at that fight and I'm just like, should have just beat him then.
I mean, with everything going on, with the way the first fight went down, when you go back to training, is there a lot of tactical changes you feel you need to make? Is it more mental, just feeling like you need to be more dialed in than you were the first time? Talk to me about mentally preparing for an instant rematch.
Yeah, yeah, a lot of it is technically, I mean, mentally, my preparation and everything leading up to it was, if you heard any of my interviews and just kind of what I felt there, like I never felt better in that regard and the preparation. I mean, it was literally perfect for me. That part of it was perfect. When I say like, when people say they have the best camp and preparation of their life and stuff, they typically just say that. Like I can point to two camps that I had the best preparation, and that was one of them. So, in that regard, there wasn't a lot of changing, but tactically, you do get some data from the fight and what it feels like to be in there with him. I have great coaches, so I let them handle that more so and don't try to obsess on it and just try to get better than I was the last time and listen to what they tell me as far as the changes that they think we should make.
I'm sure you've asked this a lot, but just really, considering it's on Fight Island, considering the way the last one went and everything else, can you put into words what it would mean to you to pick up that belt on Saturday?
I mean a lot, I mean winning the belt in the UFC is a dream for every single person that walks into an MMA gym, so for me, um it's been like a lifelong up and down, bumpy journey with a lot of adversity in between it. So, I mean, you can't put into words, honestly, I think what it would feel like. I mean, dedicating your life to something and having it like, the highest highs of it, but also having it ripping your heart out, then finally like getting it. I don't know how it's gonna feel. I mean, I feel like at the end of the day, it's hard to be like, oh, I'm done and I arrived, like, because there's still something else to do. So, I don't know. I mean, it'll be hard to put into words, but like that's what's great about it is you can't describe that feeling until you feel it, and you know that's that's why you fight. Like you don't know how the fight's gonna go, how it's gonna feel in there, and you just you don't know how it's gonna how great it's gonna feel. You can probably not even imagine it, and so yeah, I think it's hard to put into words, but like I said, at the same time, I feel like I go back and I just be like, you know what, I should have just done that last time. I should have just done that in February.
Final one from me. It's 1,000 degrees around Abu Dhabi. Most of you guys are in quarantine. Are you even able to do a Fight Island Dapper Scrappers?
Mm. Sadly not. Sadly not. Thanks for asking. Um, yeah, it's been not good. Dapper Scrappers is really taking a hit with the quarantine because you're not really allowed at any of the fights and the way things are going. There's no crowd and really access to anybody, so and people, you just don't care what you wear when you're in quarantine also. So it doesn't make for a really good one anyway. So um no one's coming in quarantine and being like, "Hey, I should wear a suit right now," because they know I'm not there taking pictures of them. So these guys don't care. But but yeah, so it's taking a hit, but just like everyone says, when things are back to normal, so will that be. So Thanks for the shout out. Thanks for asking.
Hey, hopefully we're back to that soon. Good luck.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Next question is from Damon Martin with MMA Fighting.
Yeah, Damon.
Joseph, what's up, buddy?
What's up, bro?
Obviously, this fight week for you, you're kind of doing your own thing out there, but you had to deal with the news that possibly Deiveson tested positive for COVID. Of course, there's going to be the weight cut concern until tomorrow at the weigh-ins. Did you have to ignore all that? I mean, is it impossible not to pay attention to some of that stuff going on?
I mean, it's impossible not to just like wonder what's gonna happen, but I honestly feel I did a pretty good job of just looking at it, assessing it, and saying like, well, what can I control? And a lot of it I couldn't. I couldn't control if he tested positive, if he made weight. I know we've had Pantoja in place for the whole card since we signed the deal. We made sure there was a replacement and saw him at the airport, and I knew he tested positive. So I just knew I wasn't leaving here without a fight, and so just tried to really concentrate on myself. I mean, and just waited for the news to come in, but wasn't anything honestly that stressful for me, or I did my best to alleviate that stress. Me, my coaches, and everything, and just knowing that the goal kind of stays the same no matter who it is, and if we're lucky, there's something else in play, and we'll get into a fight either way.
I know there's no, personal grudge necessarily with Deiveson. It's all business at the end of the day. But, coming out of the last fight, he downplayed a little bit of the importance of the weight cut. Obviously, he took responsibility for missing weight, but he kind of downplayed how that may have actually had a factor in the fight. And he kind of downplayed the importance of the headbutt that kind of led to the end of the fight. Not that you need more motivation, but when you hear stuff like that, like, does it add a little extra pep in your step as you get ready for a rematch like this?
Yeah, it does. It really does. I mean, just the fact like he's kind of like he's like a villain, to everybody, I think. And I don't like him. And like that is rare for me. Like you said, it's not personal because I don't really know him, personally and everything, but no, I mean, I definitely don't like him. It definitely makes you want to go out there and hurt someone worse because, when you fight, you win, you're like, oh, you hurt him, by proxy, winning an MMA fight, you kind of have to. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, all right, I just want to put this guy away. I just want to shut him up, and I just don't like him. And that rarely happens in my career, but I actually had someone ask me earlier. They said, "Well, is that a good thing?" And I said, "Well, the only people I haven't liked and felt that I wanted to do that to the same similar way that I could compare was Miguel Torres back in the WEC, ruined him, and then Henry Cejudo and beat him was his last loss. And that was a great fight as well. So yeah, I mean that's a pretty good track record for that feeling, I think. But it's nothing crazy emotional. It's just like you're actually fighting a guy you don't like.
Yeah, absolutely. Last thing for me, I know we've talked a lot about your relationship with the flyweight title going into this fight, and I don't want to take the attention away from Deiveson Figueiredo, but are you excited about the future of the flyweight division now? We just saw a great flyweight co-main event last night. We've seen a lot more flyweight fights on cards recently. Is it exciting to see where the flyweight division is going lately? And that we feel like the future is finally set a little bit after this
Yeah.
fight.
Yeah. No, it's exciting. The fight was actually this morning for us, so that's weird. But but no, yeah, that was a great fight with Tim and Benoit, both guys representing, both guys incredibly skilled. Dude, I'm a huge fan, obviously, of the division and it happening. I mean, I had the first ever title fight in this division, the first win, the first knockout. I've been here through like generations of flyweights. You know, where are all the other people that, lost to DJ for the flyweight title and was around in that first generation when we popped up? It's kind of crazy. So, yeah, man, I'm excited about it. And I just love, like, this is a normal question. Like, how great does the future look? Not the questions we were answering, like, whatever, like a year and a half two ago, the other way. So yeah, just the fact that it's normal, it's regular, it's getting some regularity in it, it's getting some good contenders, new generations of contenders, and exciting fights every time out. Um, Feels great.
Thanks, Joseph.
Our next question is from Gabriel Pengelingen with Dojo Drifter.
Okay,
Joseph, hope you're doing good.
thank you.
This is the biggest fight of your career, but you seem very calm. Is this just another day at the office for you, or do you feel the weight of the event on your shoulders?
Um, Another day at the office, honestly. I mean, I know it's big, but every fight's big, and a fight is very serious. Um, it's very hard. It's the hardest thing you can possibly do. So I don't try to make anything harder, as far as like wasted energy and mental energy or stress about it. I've done it enough times to know like it's gonna be stressful enough and hard enough fighting a guy for 25 minutes. You prepare for the hardest 25 minutes of your life, you know, and that's kind of what it is. I've just done it long enough to know like the hard part's gonna be the fight. Try not to make anything else hard.
And after that first fight with Figueiredo, what did you learn, and then what did you realize when you were in there with him that you hope you could capitalize on in your next fight, in this fight this weekend?
Well, I realize I can beat him, you know, at his own game. I could stand toe to toe with him and beat him, and that's what he wants everyone to do. I did it, was beating him in the first round, and but I learned, you take away a ton of data from things like that, and when you come out on one end, I think there's a lot of other chances and opportunities to improve than when you come out on another end. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited to go out there and show it and feel great about it.
Yes, and there's a saying that success is going from one disappointment to the next without losing enthusiasm. So how have you maintained enthusiasm throughout these title shots and through these ups and downs in your career, like you've mentioned?
It's funny, I just used that quote earlier. I'm not a quote guy, but I was like, what? That kind of describes, um, I think like longevity and, success in a way like that. But I think the way I've kept enthusiastic is, I love what I do. That's great. I've been able to keep it fresh and mix it up with different people and different coaches and teammates and kind of different eras in my MMA career. And I think that's huge. Even when I was at Alpha Male, which was my longest stint, I was always wanting to train, a week here in New Mexico, a week here in Denver, a few weeks in Vegas. So continuing to learn has been really huge to keep me like enthusiastic because everything's fresh, all the time. And you're learning, you feel like you're constantly learning and never being idle in the sport, which I think is important. And then honestly, on another level, I think just the gratitude I feel to be able to do it, that I'm lucky enough to do it, that there's people dedicating their time, even to interview me or to care about me, enough to, train me and feed me and all sorts of stuff like that. Walking into the PI every day, feel grateful. So, and I think just having like loved ones around you and people that love you, like, like I can just do this because I like it and it's fun. At the end of the day, you know, um, like you, you still have a great life, and it makes it, that much easier to walk in. Like if everything was terrible in my life and I wasn't married to Megan O'Leary, then I might walk in and not be as enthusiastic. But you know, I I walk in and I'm enthusiastic about life, and that is just something, you know, this this has afforded me that life, and I'm grateful for it. So I just try not to squander like any day, no matter if it's a Wednesday morning, Tuesday afternoon, Thursday night, just go in with, grateful that the people are there and grateful that I get to do it. It's worked out
All right. So thank you, Joe. We wish you the best of luck this weekend. Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Our last question is from Augusto Hermanias Gay with Samos MMA.
Perfect.
Hi, Joseph. How are you?
Very good. Thank you.
My first question is you have a lot of experience, but this is a particular fight week, and a lot of things might be new for you. So, in your opinion, does all these things like the 48 hours quarantine and all that make it easier to be focused on the fight, or it makes it harder?
You know, it's definitely like a challenge because it's different, but I like different and I like I've done everything in this sport. I've had, you know, 40 fights, probably 30 with the Zuffa organization. And, fight weeks are very similar. Every time you know what to expect. This keeps it fresh. After all, a fight is, the challenges and the adversity and, being able to pivot and adapt to different things. So I honestly just took everything in here. Like, I was so excited to get on the plane and have a long flight. I enjoyed the heck out of my quarantine. um, just hanging out, knowing, hey, like, you got to motivate yourself if you want to train in your hotel room right now. Like little things like that are like, you know what? You want to give yourself the best shot. Wake up at 2 in the morning. Make sure you feel awake because you're gonna fight around this time and all that kind of stuff that I think a normal person would look at as a challenge. I think fighters invite invite in. So yeah, I like it. I feel like it's a great experience to be here. I mean, the whole world's watching. You can live to tell about Fight Island, at the end of the day. So it's been a cool experience and a fresh experience at this point in my career.
And is there anything about these new things in the Fight Island that you think that the UFC should implement in every fight? I can imagine that the swabbing thing is not going to be your answer, but I don't know. What do you prefer?
You know what? That's a great question. And one thing I would like to say, so I'm glad you asked, is what I really like about this Fight Island um, preparation and the UFC is doing, and they should continue to do that, is I like the individual workout rooms. So we all work out in our individual workout room, where typically there's a ballroom that is dedicated to one corner and a ballroom dedicated to the other corner. So, everyone's trying to train around when they're going to fight. So you go in there, it's full of 8 people. Everyone's trying to blast their music. There's gear everywhere. Sharing a mat, you're running into people and stuff like that. We all have an individual workout room with an individual sauna and a bath and everything for the weight cut part. And I really like that part. You go into your own room, you're accountable to keep it clean and nice. You listen to your own music. It's just you and your team. It's very private. And I think that's been one of the best things about this, and that the UFC should continue to do that.
Yeah, I understand. And how are you dealing with the time difference and the fact that you will be fighting in an unusual time schedule?
Yeah, just another thing to adapt to. It's different. It's cool. It's interesting. I knew everything was coming with challenges here, and just to be able to do this, took a lot of preparation, challenge, on everybody's end, and all for us to go out there and live our dream and fight, and that's how it is. So, no, I've just took it with. It's fun. Like I said, it's different. It's an experience. Everyone has to do it. It's not like, hey, you're the only one that has to fight this in the morning. So I think it's cool. It just gives you another layer of like, what can I do better to prepare than the other guy can?
Joe, you two know each other from the last fight. So how much do you think this will affect the outcome of the fight? Will it have much incidence?
I think we're gonna both make the changes, and I was a better fighter in the first one, so I'm gonna be the better fighter in this one.
And my last one, Deiveson had said that he wants to submit you. Do you think he will take the fight to the ground? Are you worried about that?
Not worried, not worried at all. I invite it. I really hope he does try to grapple. and test me there. I think I'm the best grappler in the division and feel confident with anybody there. So yeah, not worried about that.